Are you someone that energizes when you're on your own or energizes when you're around people?
Certain people can really energize me.
Yeah.
But I think I'm mostly energized on my own.
Yeah. Yeah.
More than a certain number of people, I think, can really drain the energy out.
Yeah.
And that does tend to happen. Say if I've gone on a promotional tour for a film, because you're just meeting so many people and you're engaging. By the end of it, I'm just drained. You're just zapped, because you're just constantly engaging so much. I think I'm also one of those people who is very, I think of there being like this sort of twinkly light in front of me where I feel like I can take people's energy in pretty quickly. I'm not somebody who's just blocked off to everybody's energy. So if somebody's walked into the room and they're not having a bad day, that'll reach me very quickly. If something has happened, which is a like chaotic situation, it's not like I can block it off.
Yeah.
So I'm very receptive to people's energies. So I can, almost like it comes right to me. So, which is why I maybe prefer to not engage as much and to stay out of most conversations or to speak to just the people that I'm most comfortable with because I'm familiar with their energy. There's nothing new there.
What do you do with the energy when it comes to you when you're sensing
when it's new?
Yeah.
Oh, it does. I behave very weirdly sometimes. I really do I've noticed that about myself later on. I'm like, why did I behave so weird in that moment? And like a friend, like somebody who knows me very well would be like, I find it strange talking to you at parties sometimes, Alia, because you can behave really strange and say some very strange things because I'm so confused with the different multiple energies. I don't know what to do with them, But what helps is your surround system and the people that are around you, especially the team that I work with. They know me so well that even if I'm having a day like that, that's why it's very important for me when I'm working with a particular team for me to be very comfortable with them. Because if I'm not comfortable with them, all this will add to my daily energy zapping, Again, it seems like I'm talking about all my energy and my things that they might have their own day. And I'm very receptive to that as well. And everybody's sensitive to everybody. Here, because I'm talking about myself, I just thought that it's important to find a way to go through the day where you do your own thing and you don't demand too much from people. And likewise, vice versa, I don't demand too much from people as well when I'm going about my day.
When did your self-care and mental health advocacy work begin? Like, what was it that led you in that direction where you started to prioritize self-care, talk about anxiety, talk about mental health? Like, when did that become important for you and why?
I think my sister, she was a huge part of that, I think. And obviously, I'm doing it at a very small level. Whenever I can talk about it through my own lens, I do. Shaheen, my sister, wrote a book. It's called I've Never Been Unhappier. And she's, lived with depression since she was 13 and has built some amazing tools in life to be where she's at today. And she speaks about it beautifully. So something about her honesty inspired me to talk about it, not in a way where you seem like you're complaining about your life, because again, you're not in a position to complain, you have it all, but just to talk about it so that somebody somewhere watching might just resonate with it and feel like, oh, okay, I was having the same day, or I have the same feelings, so I'm not alone. Everybody feels it. It's happened very often with me where I've seen some A-list celebrity, Hollywood, international, or like even here, speak about something, and I've resonated or connected with that, and I was like, oh, they're feeling it as well. So it's happened. It happens with all of us. So that's when I think I became more open to talk about having any specific anxiety. And also I was recently clinically diagnosed with it. So I had a proper backing for me to not just say I'm just having an anxious day. Okay, it's not just that. ADHD and anxiety. And I actually seeked it out only because I was actually finding it very hard. My body was heating up in social gatherings and I was like physically responding to it. So I was also finding it very hard to focus on certain things, and my focus was going in and out. And then I realized that I gave myself a lot of credit for being an amazing multitasker. And then I realized that, yeah, I can multitask, but it does take a toll on me.
Yeah.
And I need to understand why it's taking a toll on me, because I'm forgetting the most random things, like things that I have scheduled, I'm forgetting. Why am I forgetting these things? So I did a test, a professional test, not like some random personality test or something, over 3 days. And, I was diagnosed with ADHD and anxiety. And immediately I was happy. My ADHD in me gave me information, right? So whenever there's lack of information is when I get most thrown off. So I'm always seeking information, comfort, very averse to change. So the minute I was aware of these things, it's actually made the dealing much simpler.
Yeah.
And I'm not on any medication or anything, although I can be, but I chose not to. And I'm actually just actively working on it to help get through it.
Yeah.
And I think I manage pretty well.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I mean, I think it's so useful for people to hear that, because as you said, we always think everyone else is doing just fine. And especially at parties and events, it's fascinating to me how many people who go to these, whether award shows, whatever it may be, the amount of people who say to me, I am so anxious, and everyone's feeling that way. Everyone's going through it. Everyone's worried about what they're wearing, how they look, how the night's going to be, who they're going to bump into. Like, it's so incredible that everyone's feeling the same way, yet everyone's trying to act normal. And so I think, people like yourself sharing that you feel it, you experience it, and also how a diagnosis can actually relieve you of that pressure.
It does.
Yeah, and relieve you of that stress.
Because it makes you feel like, there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of chatter in your brain, and you feel like, is it just my brain, or is it just something that is happening to me today? And the minute you find an answer to it, you feel like, oh, it's not something that I was just making up for myself.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and I think it's comforting. It's comforting to know that you had an inclination that something was holding you back from going about your day in a specific way, and now there's an answer to it.
Yes.
You get the comfort, and then you put specific sort of, structures in place in your life to help you get through that. And whatever that may be, to each his own. I chose to find ways to center myself through different ways, and use the support of my team to maybe delegate a little bit more, do things so that I'm not, and remind me about certain things, all those little things. So I was forgetting the most random things. But I think the need for getting it more in order came after being a mom, because I was I don't want to forget anything related to my daughter. I think that was my big fear. Again, parenting pressure that you put on yourself, etc. But yeah, that happened, I think, last year, and it's been a while since that happened. The reason I also again talk about it is not to seem like, oh, I'm having such a hard time and look at me and feel bad for me. It's none of that. And I think a lot of the times it's me and my sister, when we sit and talk about it, it's not like we're only talking to each other about how we're struggling, but it'll just somehow come up when we're talking about this happening, and it's just understood that it's because of XYZ reason. So the next time you talk about it, there's no need to explain again. So it's like an unsaid conversation. So I think the reason I'm also talking about it is that maybe a lot of the times I might respond a certain way in a public event or a gathering or a situation or a conversation or a talk. And maybe I'm responding because of XYZ reason.
Yeah.